Hello everybody, and in this session we're going to talk about the advantages of using CAD over other more traditional methods of creating drawings. So by the end of this session you'll be able to identify a range of different methods of creating engineering drawings. You'll be able to identify why we need different types of drawing for different scenarios in engineering, and you'll also be able to describe the advantages of using CAD to create engineering drawings, especially for manufacture. So, why do we need to create drawings in engineering? Well, the key principle of engineering is one of problem solving. So, engineers will solve problems, and that for me is the key definition. So, in order to solve a problem, usually we'll have to create some form of physical product at some point during that process. So engineering drawings are a way of communicating information visually rather than with spoken word. It's much easier to convey an idea of a physical product using a drawing, using dimensions, using annotations, than it is just to try and describe that to someone, and there's less room for misinterpretation. One of the key concepts that we use drawing for in engineering is for design. So in design, what we're looking to be able to do is to convey ideas that we have in our head. We want to be able to put these down often quite quickly in the initial phase. So in the prototyping stage, we'll be doing lots of sketching, freehand sketching. You'll probably sit down in design meetings with various people or with a client and go through those design drawings and those concepts. And then you'll want to quickly re-sketch things and tweak things as you're going. So when we're designing things in that initial phase, that prototyping phase, we want to draw things, we want to convey ideas really quickly and really easily. We want to be able to amend and change those ideas as we go. As we get more towards the end of that design phase, then we're going to be wanting to fix things in much more detail. We're going to be wanting to start thinking about sizes of things, how certain elements work together. So the traditional sketching method can be utilized in that phase, but this is sometimes where we start bringing CAD in, so we can actually physically see if these things are going to work. In CAD, as you all should know, you can create not only two-dimensional drawings, but you can create three-dimensional models, and those three-dimensional models you can test to see exactly if your design is actually going to work. So as I was just mentioning, once we get to the end of that design phase and we're coming more into a manufacturing process, we're going to want to have a different type of drawing. So we're not going to have these little sketch drawings with notes on. We're going to want a specific manufacturing drawing, and in engineering we call these technical drawings. Often these drawings are made to specific standards, and in the UK we're currently using BS 8888, and that will tell you a way of manufacturing that drawing to make sure that you've got all the bits of information in a readable manner so that anyone can interpret it and read it. So there's a lot more detail in a manufacturing drawing, because that drawing has to convey all of the important elements and every single element within the part, within the assembly that it's conveying, so that somebody who may not have any idea of that process or the ideas that you've gone through can take that and program it into a machine or utilize it to make the parts themselves to the correct sizes, the correct tolerances, to make sure that once these parts are put together, then they will work as desired from that design phase. So a manufacturing drawing must have much more detail. It must be clearly laid out. Often for an assembly, there'll be multiple drawings. You want to be able to take these drawings and do lots of things with them. So you might want to duplicate them. You might want to email them halfway around the world. So having a hand sketch drawing with hand notes and things that might be a little bit more unclear is not necessarily the best way to go around that. So you can create technical drawings by doing things by hand, which is a traditional method which requires quite a lot of skill. It is time consuming, however, once that skill level gets up to a point of mastery, I've seen people draw amazing technical drawings really accurately, really quickly. However, modern day technology, we have computers, we can create those technical drawings with our CAD systems, and we can do things much quicker than we would be able to do if we were sat there with a drawing board physically drawing all the lines onto this piece of paper. So we're going to look at that in a little bit more detail. So what are the different types of drawings? Let's go through this first of all. So at a very basic level, we have drawings and sketches that have no specific ways of creating them. So these can just be hand drawings. They can be drawn in any type of perspective by anyone with any skill level. And for those that have seen my hand drawing, you'll know that you don't need to be an artist to be able to create sketches in order to be able to create an idea. As long as you can put something down on the paper that looks similar to what you want, and you have some annotations, so some little bits of extra notes and some dimensions, that is usually enough to be able to convey an idea to somebody. The next level of drawings we've got are then drawings where that are created in a specific way. So things like isometric drawings, where it's a three-dimensional drawing that's done on a 30-degree angle, so you can see a three-dimensional shape in a specific way. We also then have obliques. There are a couple of different types of obliques, so oblique cabinet, oblique cavalier, just very slight tweaks and changes, but still they're designed, they're drawn with a specific way of being. So there are a few rules that you have to follow in order to create those types of drawings. You also have perspective drawings, so you can have 1, 2, 3 point perspective. And again, we're kind of building up the skill level here into a more technical type of drawing, but still the whole point of this is to try and convey the shape and the sizes of the objects that you want to use. The next step up then is to have your full technical drawing, and as I've said before, most technical drawings follow a specific standard, and that standard will tell you exactly how to lay the drawing out. It should convey all of the information to be able to manufacture that part from the drawing, and it will be done in a specific way. It will use specific bits of language which should be universally accepted. So if you create a technical drawing to a specific drawing standard, that standard should be understood by pretty much anyone who picks that drawing up. So the very final bit of drawing that I want to include in here is actually a three-dimensional CAD drawing. So this is in opposition to a two-dimensional CAD drawing I just described, a technical drawing. Three-dimensional CAD drawings are being used more and more nowadays as a way of conveying ideas for things, and you can actually create a European copyright based off a three-dimensional drawing, which is why I wanted just to include it in here. It doesn't necessarily contain all of the information that you would need to manufacture the part. However, it can contain enough information to convey an idea and a thought and a design for something, which is why you can use it to create this copyright, but only in Europe. So, what are the benefits of using CAD to create design drawings? So what we're talking about here then is actually in the design phase itself. Why would we use CAD over a traditional hand drawing style? So what are the reasons? So the benefit of a CAD system to create drawings is that you're going to end up with high quality drawings straight away. Now, if we're talking about a model being a type of drawing as well, that model can be rotated into any angle. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can create different scaled versions of different elements of the drawing. You can colour it, you can add textures to it. You can only do these things in a CAD environment. It would be quite time consuming to be able to do that with a traditional hand sketch. But the key question is, do you need to do that? How much detail do you need in that design drawing? And that will change at various phases of the design. So if you're at a very early phase of your design, then using a piece of paper to sketch on is a brilliant way just to get the ideas flowing, and you can then tweak your design as much as you want. It's very easy, very quick, and then as you start to fix this together a bit more, then creating CAD drawings can become more valuable. So probably for an early stage of design, we're going to look at doing some hand drawings, some conceptual drawings, and then maybe as we progress further through it, as we're getting a design that's more fixed in what we want and its size and its texture and its the way that different parts are going to move together, then creating some CAD drawings can be more beneficial. So the limitations of CAD to create design drawings is that sometimes you'll be limited by the speed of which you can create those drawings when you're designing. Also, you may be limited by your skill level within the CAD system. You may not be able to put your ideas down as quickly and as effortlessly, and you could spend a lot of time in a CAD system creating a design, and then because it's just a concept and it's an idea, you then may move away from that the further you go through that design process. So what I'm trying to show you here is that CAD isn't the be-all and end-all, not for designing products. It's great when you get towards the end phase of the design process and you're trying to fix these models together to create something that works, and you can test it, you can stress test the parts and the models, you can see where the weak elements are, you can test assemblies and mechanisms to make sure that they work. That's brilliant at that phase, but don't get caught in the trap of trying to create concept drawings in CAD, because it will actually stop or slow down your design thoughts and your ability to quickly create ideas and come up with new ones and see the holes in your design as well. So don't think that CAD is the be-all and end-all for design. So, as I mentioned previously, we get towards the end phase of a design and you're going to want to start creating your products, or you're going to want to create some drawings that you can send to somebody to manufacture your products. This is where the technical drawings come in. This is where the key power of CAD is now a massive benefit for creating a drawing. So once you get to that part where your model's virtually done, your design is fixed in, and you're creating this model in CAD, the real big benefit is that you can take those models that you've created, and once you've tested them and make sure they work, it's a very quick process to take it and put it into a two-dimensional drawing that you can use in a manufacturing process. Another big benefit is that you can utilize that 3D CAD data, those 3D CAD drawings, and you can put those into CAM software, or run the CAM software built into your CAD software to help you program 3D printers, CNC machines, computer coordinate measuring machines. You can utilize that exact CAD data. So that's another massive benefit. Another big benefit is that once you've created those two-dimensional drawings, if you were to go back and change and edit the 3D model, those edits and changes will duplicate onto the drawing. So you wouldn't need to create a whole new drawing if you've made some amendments to a part. You can just quickly go in and amend and change that part, amend and change the extra bits in the drawing itself. But a lot of that data will just filter through from the model to the drawing, and you wouldn't have as much work to do. So another great benefit is that CAD is going to create digital drawings, which means that when you want to reproduce those drawings, you want to print 1 million copies off, you will not get any loss in quality. Have you ever photocopied a hand drawing and then photocopied the photocopy and photocopied the photocopy? When you get to photocopy number 5 or 6, the information that you've sketched on that hand drawing is going to be very difficult to read. If you haven't done it before, try it, because the image will get darker and darker, the lines on that image will get fuzzier and fuzzier, and you'll get to a point where it's unusable, it's unreadable. So CAD creates digital drawings which are very quick and easy to modify, and you can duplicate them, you can save them. I could email it to somebody in Australia, in South America, to manufacture parts for me and then send those parts back to me. So having a digital copy of that CAD drawing can be a massive benefit. So what are the limitations of using CAD to create drawings for manufacture? In all honesty, there aren't too many. However, the cost of the software, the cost of maintenance of the software, the cost of the computer workstation that's required, and the resource to be able to train someone up to use that CAD system is pretty much the big limitations. There aren't too many others, not for creating manufacturing drawings, because the quality and the detail and the accuracy that you can get out of a CAD model is often, not always, but is often higher than what you would get from somebody creating a hand drawing, no matter how skilled they were. So there aren't too many limitations, but there are some, and it's always important to identify those couple of limitations. So in summary, there are a lot of benefits for creating drawings with CAD. It's not 100%, and that's why I wanted to outline that in design at the very early stages, if you use CAD, it can sometimes slow a process down. And another occasion I didn't mention previously was if you're creating a one-off product of something and it's not got a huge amount of complexity and detail to it, you may not want to put it into a CAD system to create a CAD drawing. You might be able to get away with just creating a quick hand sketch drawing or an isometric drawing or a hand technical drawing. You can convey enough information for things that aren't highly technical and don't have lots of changes in their geometry and lots of features. However, there are substantial benefits for using CAD to create drawings electronically. Accuracy, speed, efficiency, the ability to quickly edit and change drawings, the ability to have those drawings digitally so you can send them around the world, you can duplicate them over and over and over. That list is by no means exhaustive. There are lots and lots of key benefits, but the key things to remember, it's not 100%. There are some issues with it. Good luck.